Hello, this is Rhonda of Rhonda Lynn Likes Crafts, and I'm just going to end up doing the end of this book, this Edgar Allan Poe book. I've had bronchitis for a little while, so I wasn't able to post the rest of it. I actually have the list of all the people that I used and all of the Etsy and products and everything I used to make this. So we'll just start here. In my last video I went over and I stopped here at Goldbug because there's a giant magnolia in it. That's from Amy Jo Studios, and this is the card from Edgar Allan Poe, his deck of cards. So this is some paper here that I colored myself with ink. That may not have been ink. That one may have been one I did with watercolor paint. It's just some cardstock. And this one here, I believe, I'm not totally sure what this paper is from, but it's really beautiful. It's over on Etsy. And this is just some lace I had, and I bet you guys can guess what this one is. Pit and the Pendulum, and there's a chair, and there's a shutter. There's always a black shutter, isn't there? And here's a little bit from Pit and the Pendulum. And let's see, on the next page. Oh, this is just from Amy Jo Studios again. It's just some ephemera I happen to have. This is in honor of the story of the Black Cat. When I send the papers over to Office Max or Office Depot, they come back with a border, so I just take some ink and I ink up the borders and fix it. This had a quote, and it was not obviously by Edgar Allan Poe, so I put an envelope there from, I don't remember who that one's from, and I put a couple of quotes from here, a couple of cutouts. I'm actually gonna make a book. I may do that this week. It'll be a lot of fun. It's just going to be on his poems. But this is Annabelle Lee, and this is in Edgar Allan Poe's handwriting. And that's from Operation Reprint. And this again is from Amy Jo Studios. It's just a piece of paper I tore. More from Amy Jo Studios. More blank paper. I don't usually write in these very often. And that was just a paper I just thought was kind of pretty. Oh, and here's a tag. And some flowers. That flower I got from Retro Art Cafe. Or Retro Cafe Art, sorry. They're an online shop. So, a long time ago, Edgar Allan Poe wrote on a scroll. Well, so did Jack Kerouac. He wrote on the scroll. They were both quite fans of, even though 10 years apart, they were both fans of scrolls. So I said, okay, if he was to separate the scroll, how would he put it into a book? So I made a little booklet here of Annabelle Lee and maybe how he would do it. This is the entire poem. I kind of inked the pages a little bit. Like a little book. These pages here also are by Amy Jo Studio. Again, I don't know why I didn't put something like a bead or something. I just left these loose, these strings. And that's a heart. I like the heart. I should have used it for Telltale Heart. So now we're up to the Raven. So when Edgar Allan Poe wrote the Raven, he only got paid $9 for it. That is what this stands for. I do not know the exchange rate from $9 back in the 1840s when he wrote it to whatever $9 now would be. I just thought that was interesting. This is a library card. It is from, it could be from Operation Reprint. That's a quote and that's a tag. Another one of those library book envelopes. Of course, that's the raven. Here's some information on it. It says, that I just noted, I don't usually write in these things, so this was interesting. It says, as Poe wrote the raven, his wife Virginia was deathly ill. And it says, Poe chose the raven because it is a bird that could talk. And then the raven made Poe a celebrity, but he was still dirt poor, which goes back to this $9, and $9, I don't know how much that would be buy back then. This is a letter I found that Edgar Allan Poe wrote to John Allen where he was staying and asked him for money, which is why he had to get into gambling. This is a rare manuscript that was sold of the raven in his handwriting. This Edgar Allan Poe himself. Here's some ravens. This is from Operation Reprint. And here's the poem, the entire poem. Again, I'm going to cover this poem a little bit better in another book, which would be a lot more fun and not quite of a research project as this. Here's some more. Here it says, erratic, sensitive, and peculiar genius. And this is from Amy Jo Studios, which I love her papers. So you may see those again. Then here's a couple of blank pages. Oh, and this is from Operation Reprint. Sorry, it says, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then I looked it up and I wrote it down here. That a bust of Pallas is a statue of Athena. Pallas is another name for Athena, goddess of wisdom. And I wrote down note. Here's some more pages from the raven. Another page I watercolored. That I'm gonna figure out who did these. I'm not sure who did those. And this is a cut from the Cricut. This was not fun trying to glue this to this page. And I had no luck at all with spray on glue. I didn't have any luck with even the best spray on glue you can buy. So it's not the greatest glued on there. I finally had to glue it on there with clear Aleene's craft glue. And this is the end. This is a quote. This is just a little page off of a doily that I inked. This says Poe. This says Edgar Allan Poe started gambling when John Allen wouldn't send him money while in college. So I found a tin of diamonds and just watercolored it. This Edgar Allan Poe had a stamp. So I got a whole bunch of stamps from Etsy. Here's the stamp, you can see it. Whoops, oh, sorry. So I made this little book with his little stamp. On the back is a picture of him. I have a whole bunch of those little stamps. That's a little envelope. I probably should do this a little bit different so the stamp doesn't fall out. That's a quote by him. Of course, some of those again are misquoted, and I was very careful not to use anything at all that would misquote. Edgar Allan Poe was interested in science. He liked science. He dabbled in it. So one of his essays was, I found an essay online, and one of his last essays he did. So it says, you can actually read it, you can look up online. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it right now. So I made this page just to devote it to his love for science. And it kind of goes in there awkward. Okay. Nope, it goes in like this. It's kind of a pull-out page of an envelope I had a long time ago. I bought some maps, and that's how I used it. So This again is another note. This, I think that's from Operation Reprint. And some more things about science. Again, on these cards, I'm pretty sure he said it, but I was also very careful not to misquote him. Poe's last poem was The Bells. I found this reprint of his in his handwriting. That's some ephemera I had. Oh, what is this? This would be music he would listen to, because I got to thinking, what music would he listen to, and how exactly would he listen to it? And that's some ephemera. I think that's from Amy Jo Studios. Okay, so now we're on to the theories. And the theories and the speculations. So I tore this piece of paper here, and I wrote theories and speculations. So when he died, we weren't sure, because nobody was there. Was he a victim of cooping? Did he have syphilis? Did he have rabies, cholera, murder, or suicide? And I'm not sure if that's his mausoleum or not. I don't know if he even has a mausoleum. But it'd probably be cooping, but it could be any of these. I also read a scholarly article on him that he may have had rabies. I'm also reading a book right now about his mysterious death. So I just thought that this was appropriate to put in there. It's again one of Amy Jo Studios papers. This is a map of Baltimore. That's where he died. This is a copy. I typed it. Obviously, it's a copy of the letter that they wrote to his doctor when they found him on October 3rd of 1849. That's just a fold over page. And so on October 2nd of 1849, Edgar Allan Poe died, and his obituary, this was one of his obituaries. There's another one I have. I should put in here that I just saw in the book I'm reading. It says on October 2nd, 1849, Edgar Allan Poe died. His obituary had to be read closely, because this obituary says September 7th. This is just another picture I had of the raven. Here's some... I like to put facts in there, and I don't know why these books become more like research projects. So it's just some facts I found that say how he was a victim of cooping, how he was, how they found him. Recently, slivers of his coffin and slivers of his coffin was donated to the museum. I found that article in 1875. Well, he was buried, of course, in 1849, but they moved him in 1875, and the author fell out of the coffin. So, because he wrote so many stories about being buried alive, it seems only fitting that we have a piece of the very coffin in which he was buried. I think that's phenomenal that they have that. I believe that's in Richmond. That could be in Baltimore. That's the saloon where they say where he haunts and hangs out at. This is another blank page. This is a letter to him again that I wrote. I felt that he was always worried about being forgotten, so I put that down there. And, of course, his very, very last words he said before he died was, "Lord, help my poor soul." You can see that. And here this is again. And then here's just a couple of ephemera I haven't put in there yet. I would say that is all of the Edgar Allan Poe book. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry it was in 3 parts. So enjoy and like my page and Subscribe if you feel the need, and I'll be posting more as soon as I make more books.